Hello and welcome. Today we are talking about GCAP, the Global Combat Air Program, one of the most important fighter jet projects currently being developed outside the United States. At first, GCAP may look like just another stealth fighter. A futuristic aircraft, sharp edges, twin engines, and promises of sixth-generation technology. But that is not the best way to understand it. GCAP is not only an aircraft. It is Britain, Italy, and Japan trying to build an entire air combat system for the 2030s and 2040s. The visible part will be the fighter jet. The more important part will be everything around it. Drones, sensors, artificial intelligence, electronic warfare, secure data links, long-range weapons, and a combat cloud that connects multiple platforms together. That is what makes GCAP different from older fighter programs. A fourth-generation aircraft like the Eurofighter Typhoon was mainly built around speed, weapons, radar, and maneuverability. A fifth-generation aircraft like the F-35 added stealth, sensor fusion, and networked warfare. GCAP is meant to go one step further. It is expected to act less like a lone fighter and more like a command node in the sky. The program was launched by the United Kingdom, Italy, and Japan, with a target to deliver a next-generation fighter around 2035. For Britain and Italy, it is the long-term replacement path after the Eurofighter Typhoon. For Japan, it is tied to the replacement of the F-2 and the need to respond to a much more dangerous air environment in the Indo-Pacific. This is where the strategic side becomes important. GCAP is not just about building a cool aircraft. It is about industrial survival and military independence. Britain, Italy, and Japan do not want to reach the 2040s with no ability to design their own high-end combat aircraft. If they lose that skill, they become permanent buyers instead of builders. That does not mean GCAP is anti-American or a direct replacement for the F-35. The F-35 will remain central for many Allied air forces for years, but GCAP is about what comes after. It gives these countries a future option that is not completely dependent on Washington, Lockheed Martin, or the American Combat Air Roadmap. Technically, many exact specifications are still unknown. There is no operational aircraft yet, and the final performance figures are not public. So anyone claiming exact speed, radar range, stealth level, or combat radius is mostly guessing. But the direction is clear. GCAP is expected to be a large, twin-engine stealth fighter with internal weapons carriage, long-range, advanced sensors, powerful electronic warfare, and open architecture software. Open architecture is important, since modern aircraft cannot wait 10 years for every upgrade. The aircraft must be able to receive new weapons, sensors, and software much faster than older platforms. One of the most important parts of GCAP will be drone teaming. The fighter is expected to work with loyal Wingman or collaborative combat aircraft. These drones could scout ahead, carry extra weapons, jam enemy radars, act as decoys, or take on dangerous missions where sending a pilot would be too risky. In that kind of fight, the pilot is not just flying an aircraft. The pilot is managing a small air combat network. The jet collects information from its own sensors, from drones, from allied aircraft, from ships, from satellites, and from ground systems. Then artificial intelligence helps process that data so the pilot is not buried under too much information. This is the logic behind sixth-generation air combat. The winner may not be the aircraft with the highest top speed. It may be the side that sees first, shares data faster, makes decisions quicker, and controls unmanned systems more effectively. But GCAP also has serious risks. The biggest challenge may not be technology alone, it may be money, politics, and industrial compromise. 3 countries are sharing one extremely complex program. That means arguments over cost, work share, intellectual property, export rules, and design priorities are almost guaranteed. This is where GCAP must be judged carefully. A clean-looking concept model does not mean the aircraft is easy to build. A sixth-generation fighter requires advanced engines, stealth shaping, thermal management, sensors, software, weapons integration, drone control, and secure networking. Any one of these areas can create delays. There is also a budget problem. Programs like this rarely become cheaper over time. The more ambitious the aircraft becomes, the more pressure governments will face to control costs. If funding becomes unstable, the 2035 target could become harder to protect. Still, GCAP has one major advantage. The 3 partner nations need it for different but compatible reasons. Britain needs to keep its combat aircraft industry alive. Italy wants to remain a major European aerospace power. Japan needs a future fighter for a region where Chinese air power. So the best way to understand GCAP is this. It is not simply a plane. It is a test of whether Britain, Italy, and Japan can build the next generation of air power together. If it succeeds, GCAP could become one of the most important non-American combat aircraft programs of the century. It could give Allied air forces a new stealth fighter, a drone control platform, and a networked combat system built for the 2040s. If it fails, it will show how difficult sixth-generation air combat has become, even for advanced economies with strong aerospace industries. So GCAP is not guaranteed to dominate the future, but it is one of the clearest signs of where air warfare is going. Fewer isolated fighter jets, more connected systems, more unmanned partners, more software, more sensors, and far more pressure on industry to keep up. I really like replying personally to your comments. What are your thoughts? Can Britain, Italy, and Japan really build a serious sixth-generation fighter together? Or will cost and politics slow the program down? Let me know in the comments.